So let me tell you how I'm even aware of like what it even is, right? So when we was in LA, when I was in LA, me and Tiana was living with each other or whatever in the hotels or whatever. So while we was in LA, we was doing like you could say artist development for Polo de Dawn, right? And we was working with Esther Dean, who's also a writer, right? Top writer. And we was working with her to get her brand together and everything like that. So this is how I know her. This is why I could even tell you with this manifestation that I knowingly manifested, right? So, but back in LA, when she would be in the studio writing and they want to deal with us, she would lock us in like the other dance, like the club room at the studio, and she would put on the Law of Attraction, like she would put the DVD on or whatever, and she would tell us to watch it. And every time she didn't feel like dealing with us, she would be like, "Go watch the Law of Attraction." So like we did, but everybody else used to fall asleep. I used to stay up, like I used to watch it, like for real, because I thought it was an interesting concept that and then it made me think about all the other things that I had achieved literally off my mental because it's not like I was with an agency. It wasn't like any of those things, right? So she used to make us watch The Law of Attraction all the time. And it really just stuck with me. And it's funny because when I eventually went back to New York, one of my cousins had given my aunt a secret DVD for Christmas years prior to me even being in LA and watching it because Esther made us watch it. So when I came home from LA, after being like brainwashed by the secret, that shit was just sitting up in the drawer. I was like, wow, I had this shit with me the whole time and never watched it, never saw it. And it took me to go 3,000 miles away to actually, find out what I already had in my drawer. So that's crazy. So moving on. So one of the things that I had wanted to do is because when I was hanging out with Tiana, like I was playing assistant, right? We was cool, but I was playing assistant. I was the older one. I was making sure everything was together, yada yada, right? So I kind of liked the movement of that, like you know what I'm saying. So I was like, I'd actually like to be an actual assistant to someone, right? So I used to say that all the time, and then like after I went my own way or whatever, I ended up being Esther's personal assistant when she came to New York, and I got to experience that for a couple months. So that's one thing that I knowingly attracted, and then so I had my son, right, in 2012. And there was this show that came on TV called Hit the Floor. Now, don't give me that. I don't know what year that was, but it was around that time, 2012, right? Because my son was still little. And I used to watch Hit the Floor every week. And as the weeks went on, I was like, damn, that kind of looked like it's fun to work for a basketball team. Like to be in the arena, you got all access with the whoop. So I kind of just was like watching the show every week, but like imagining myself in the scenarios of the show. Like it would be dope to be because don't forget, like Hit the Floor, if you watched it was about a bunch of dances, right? So that's what was alluring, as well as like I like exclusivity. So I like the all access idea of working for a team, right? So nonetheless, when you manifesting, right, you still got to put work in, right? So I used to think about like, oh, it'd be dope if I worked there, and then I was like, you know what? I know somebody worked for the NBA. Let me just hit her up and see if she can help me bring that to fruition. So she did, and I got that job straight away. Like I got that job straight away. Like so, and then I was working with them for a couple of months. I had the all access pass. I saw all the players from the visiting team. I mean, he wasn't supposed to talk to them, but some of them spoke, some of them didn't. But nonetheless, I still got to put myself in the shoes of the idea of what Hit the Floor was representing in the show. So that's another manifestation that I brought into fruition. I mean, you could go down my IG and see, like, it's not no cap. So after that, Yeezy, Kanye West was, his last actual fashion line was Yeezy Season 3, which he also dropped with the album, right? And I was a part of the extra models for that show, for that fashion show. And it was crazy because my sister had actually went and signed up and got online to be in the show as well. But and she kind of told me about it. I found out about it online, but I got an email inviting me to be a part of the Yeezy Season 3 show. So I was like, now how did that happen? Like, because I used to be at Bill Cunningham. I used to like be at a bunch of shows where they do paid audience and stuff like that. So I guess that's they ran it through that company or whatever. But they sent the damn email talking about, do you want to be a part of the Yeezy Season 3? So I'm like, oh hell yeah. So how do I sign up from the crib? And my sister went and stood online and she didn't make it, and I did. So I was like, damn, that's crazy. Law of attraction. Law of attraction, because I always like for like a week, people knew about it. So I was just like, damn, that'd be dope. You know what I mean? That'd be dope. and I ended up being a part of the show. You can go down on my timeline and see, yeah, on my Instagram page and see all of the pictures from the Yeezy season 3 as well. Um, and also, what else I did just recently? I manifested my Planet Pineapple strain, right? So if anybody knows me, like Planet Pineapple is part of like a persona or whatever, and I always said I wanted to, like, if I had a chance to make a marijuana strain, it would be called Planet Pineapple. And this is something that I spoke to my brother for about years, and he's not really my brother, but that's my brother. Is so and so's bodyguard at the time, who was also my son's godfather now. So another reason, back to an unknowingly manifestation, is that like at the same time I manifested so and so, he also brought his security guard into my life. Shout out Tim, because at the time I didn't have my father, and he came in as a father figure. So it's like I met so and so, but at the same time, it could be like I only met so and so that I could still have a male figure in my life, because I definitely still wanted a male figure in my life. So I was just like, like just wishing, dad wasn't corny and shit like that. So nonetheless, though, that bridged the gap to who, Tim, I will for always love him. That's my brother. Like, he the man in the boots, okay? But moving back on. So I called Tim, and I used to talk to Tim about, like, yo, because he had the connects or whatever. But a couple years ago, like, it all came to fruition. Like, yo, some things that you think about or you wanted, you forget about it, and they pop up on your timeline, like your literal timeline, like your life timeline. And so, as it progressed and I went to LA, and then everything was happening, it was bags being made, it was images being drawn up, and I was just like, yo, that's crazy, because it really don't matter what I asked for, good or bad. I get it, good or bad, because there is also a negative to manifesting, right? Like if you're not specific, you'll get some wild shit.